Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-231-9279. That's 800-231-9279. 800-231-9279.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casinos now, your favorite sports book available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, in this week's episode of the Book Report, we've got numbers. We've got a couple launches to talk about. Technically, I guess they're launches. There are some different changes in approved sports betting events and also a broadcast or a betcast that just happened. We've got legislation. Boy, do we have legislation. We've got New York, Maryland, Arizona, Connecticut.
Arizona has been in the news a lot.
Florida threw in a couple of things for us. Tennessee. And also a bunch of deals, especially a mega deal that I was anticipating after I saw the NFL Genius Sports data deal that happened. They have – I'm just going to go right into it because why not?
I saw the most interesting headline on that one. Try exclusive deal because it's with 3 sportsbook operators. They said try exclusive.
Well, it's try exclusive because it's a different tier than what they're going to be doing with other sportsbooks.
Okay.
These are the main sports betting partners.
So who are the 3 sports betting operators that the NFL did a try exclusive deal with?
Caesars. And remember, I mentioned last week, Caesars had that deal with the NFL for gaming anyway.
Sure.
So it makes sense that Caesars would be one of the sports betting partners. DraftKings and FanDuel.
Makes sense. So the big 3, I guess.
They're the big 3, and they.
Well, if you want to throw BetMGM in there too.
Well, you got to wait there.
But Caesars, FanDuel, and DraftKings are the big 3.
I wonder if they will make room for BetMGM as a official sports betting operator tier, but they said they're going to be doing other tier levels, different types of deals with everybody else. A lot of moving parts to this. They're 5-year deals. If they go through the entire 5-year deals, they could essentially end up getting the NFL $1 billion.
Wow. Okay.
DraftKings and FanDuel will have the right to integrate relative sports betting content directly in the NFL media properties, including NFL.com.
Okay.
That's those guys. Caesars has a little different deal. Caesars and the NFL will collaborate on integrating NFL content into Caesars' platform. And they will also be able to do Caesars into the NFL properties just like the FanDuel and DraftKings deal. But Caesars gets that extra thing. The NFL is going to work with them to integrate their content into Caesars' platform.
See, I'm very interested in how these 3 will mesh together in the NFL universe. I mean, if you're going to see lines on the screen during broadcast for NFL, whose lines are they going to be? I'd be very curious to see how everyone works together with the NFL.
Well, again, it's going to be on the surface. You're probably not going to notice.
Probably not.
A casual bettor or casual. I don't want to say casual fan because there's no such thing as a casual NFL fan anymore. People love this league no matter what they do, but you're not going to see too much difference. If you're going to see the highlights, you're going to see stuff like that. You're going to see DraftKings odds. You're going to see FanDuel's odds, probably different places, different sites. Matter of fact, you may see a little section on the NFL.com website that has all the different promos.
I'd be very curious to see that. I would assume that would be it. But look, I mean, if you're watching an NFL game in a sports betting jurisdiction, you're probably going to be in front of your cell phone looking at your favorite sports book. It might not even be FanDuel, DraftKings, or Caesar. So,
but they may be hoping it becomes.
Hey, I'm sure it will be.
So those are set up. I mean, this was all set up because of the Genius Sports deal the previous week.
Yep.
And
when you say Genius Sports deal, you don't mean a really smart sports deal.
No, the name of the company is Genius Sports.
Is the name of the company.
They run the data.
Sure.
They're the official distributor of the data, the analytics that go out there. And where the Genius Sports comes into play, these three operators, Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel, part of the deal is they must buy the data from Genius Sports. So this is where Genius gets their money out of all this stuff.
So that was an important first step.
That Genius was the groundwork for it.
Sure.
Actually, if you think about it, Sport Radar was the groundwork a little while ago. Genius Sports did the overall data landscape kind of deal where they control everything. And now the sports betting operators come in through Genius into the NFL.
See, all these deals, it's a roadmap to have this big sports betting universe that really works well with one another. So it's very interesting to see the long-term plans of a company like the NFL and what deals they make and what deals they put on top of deals, on top of deals, on top of deals.
And if you think about it, the NFL is perfect at doing all these types of deals because that's how they structured their media deals with the networks too.
Sure.
They take their time, they plot these out. There are so many different moving parts, but when you look at all the moving parts as a whole, they actually fit together perfectly and create a really great contract for the NFL. It expands it properly. It gets it to the consumer the right way. And they're going to have also with these sports betting deals, the operators had to agree to adhere to the NFL integrity principles for the games. So a lot of the stuff, the NFL is still in charge ultimately with all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just like they are with the media deals. They are completely in charge of all these deals. Don't kid yourself. They may call them partners. They may do all this stuff, but really it all stems from the league. And they're all going to work together fine.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious how they'll fit together, and that's what I'm curious about.
I think you're just going to be able to see different things. Like Caesars is going to be able to offer some of the NFL highlights directly from the NFL. Mm-hmm. DraftKings and FanDuel, you're going to see their content on the NFL media sites, but not the other way around.
Yeah.
So again, little twists and turns here. Caesars, I think, is their big partner in all this, especially after the gaming deal they did. 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah. So again, we're starting to see the big picture here. I'm very curious to see what happens with the broadcast rights now. Do you start seeing some of these interwoven into the broadcast deals? I know we had Fox Bet as part of the Fox Sports deal.
Will they finally start talking about gambling? Well, they started to. They hinted this year. They started talking. When someone kicked an extra point or missed the extra point, some of the broadcasters said, "Oh, that's going to hurt the over" and stuff like that. But
they missed a lot of field goals last year, so they got to work on that part of it.
But I think it'll loosen up a lot.
But it's actually nice to see the NFL finally making their move. They're not done yet. There's a lot more to do. A lot of pieces to the pie for the football.
I'm sure they're not done yet. They're not done yet.
I'll be very interested to see if any of the leagues start working together. The NFL, the NBA. They have all their separate deals. At some point, you're going to see some kind of conglomeration where they're going together.
You know what I'm waiting for? A couple weeks ago, I interviewed the president of gaming for the PGA Tour. I'm curious, going forward now, will we see a president of gaming for the NFL, a president of gaming for the MLB, a president of gaming for the NBA? I'm very curious if the position is going to be created based on gaming.
Well, DraftKings just brought in a head of media.
Yeah.
So, they're going to have to start doing all these gaming positions on the league side of everything.
They're coming together.
And you mentioned the PGA Tour. They just did a deal with DraftKings.
Oh, yeah. Look at that segue, huh?
Technically, it's not a new deal. It's an expansion.
I know. An expansion. They're they're expanding their relationship, I guess. They're calling it.
For mobile and retail sports betting in Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona just moved ahead and passed their sports betting bill into law. That's going to be fun to watch that region explode with sports betting opportunities. But right before the bill was signed by Governor Ducey out there, the PGA Tour and DraftKings announced that at the TPC Scottsdale golf course, they're going to be putting into motion plans to operate a premium retail sports book on the golf course.
Nice.
They have not figured out where exactly they're going to put the sports book, and I think they got to just see exactly not only where it can fit aesthetically, but also where in the timeline of when sports betting can actually launch in Arizona. I mean, everyone's saying by NFL, Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, but September. I don't know exactly whether or not that's actually going to happen. Maybe around there.
Yeah. Maybe
sooner, maybe later, depending on how quickly they move. But they are planning a premium retail sports book. They want to do, and this is from the press release, they plan to create a visually stunning 19th hole experience at TPC Scottsdale where fans can gather year-round to place wagers, watch sports, and enjoy quality food and beverage options. So this is going to be a year-round thing. It's not just going to be when golf is there.
I'm going to be very curious how this affects the Las Vegas market. Because, I mean, Arizona's right there. I mean, it's just very close to Las Vegas, and I know a lot of times for the Super Bowl or World Series or even for the weekend for sports, people from Arizona travel to Las Vegas and Nevada. I'm very curious how this will affect the sports betting market in Nevada and especially Las Vegas, because New Jersey's going to have that kind of same situation. Well, we have it right now with Pennsylvania, but when New York goes mobile, we're going to have that competition that we weren't hoping for.
I'm just curious to see which state will have the first golf course sports book, whether it's going to be Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or New York.
Sounds like it's going to be Arizona pretty soon.
Well, I'm talking about on the East Coast.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, Arizona's got the first one, West Coast.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm really shocked Nevada didn't get one, because they have tons of golf courses out there, and
well, they might think about one now.
Yeah, it's almost interesting to see the things Nevada has overlooked, or maybe purposely turned a blind eye to. I mean, Nevada just introduced.
Well, look, they had no competition where they are.
Well, think about it. Nevada just allowed MLB World Series MVP betting.
I'm shocked with that.
They just
when you told
it.
me that, I was shocked with that. I can't believe the Nevada sports betting market didn't have what are they called? What are they officially called? The honors of Major League Baseball or the awards for
World
Major
Series
League Baseball?
MVP was never part of the betting menu.
That's shocking. That's shocking.
It will be now, but they have other playoff betting menus and all that.
I'm
stuff.
sure they have MVP and things like that. But I'm shocked that they didn't have.
Well, no, World Series MVP
they didn't
is
have
now.
That. Yeah, unbelievable.
They have MVP for the different series underneath, the championship series, all that stuff. It's just weird that, that is one that I thought they would have had a long time ago. But again, it goes to my point that Nevada seems to be missing things. Or maybe all the other states that now have sports betting have made other people cognizant that certain things are missing in Nevada.
And again, I wonder if this is going to push Las Vegas and Nevada to do other things with their sports betting markets, to do add more sports and things like that.
Maybe they'll finally waive that in-person registration requirement.
Yeah, maybe. How about that?
Especially since Illinois just reinstated theirs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're looking at removing that legislative-wise. So we'll see if Illinois actually gets their act together and drops that in-person registration requirement.
I had to look at the map for Arizona. I mean, it's right near Las Vegas. It's right near Henderson. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that affects the sports betting market of Las Vegas.
Well, the sports betting market may also be affected by the deal with the Suns and FanDuel. Phoenix Suns and FanDuel. They just did a deal.
I got to tell you,
on the heels
Arizona's jumping in with both feet.
Right on the heels of the announcement of the bill being signed into law, the Phoenix Suns had a little tweet out there, had a little slide that had the Phoenix Suns logo and it said "Revolution is coming" or something like that, and it was in FanDuel colors, and everybody noticed the color scheme. And then they came out with this announcement that FanDuel and the Phoenix Suns have entered into a sports betting deal, and pending approval, they're going to be building a luxury sports book in the Phoenix Suns arena.
You know, the ink isn't even dry on the legislation, and they're really making these massive deals. I love what Arizona's doing.
Let me tell you something. I got the impression that Ducey was just starting the Y in his name, and they had deals already in place.
Boom.
So I don't think he even finished signing his name before some of these deals are. But they're planning,
legislation signed. Boom! Look at the deals. Look at the deals.
Love the deals. As soon as Ducey said he was going to sign it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
before it got to his desk, he said he was going to sign it.
They were talking before that.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be a 6,300 square foot luxury sports book, and it's going to be open daily, not just on game day. Because I remember in Maryland, that
what
was one
story
of their
did we have?
We had Maryland.
Yeah.
It was going to be doing just on game day. That changed altogether.
I thought that was stupid, and I guess other people thought that was stupid, and I guess Maryland's changing that, right?
Maryland has changed it.
It has changed it.
It's going to the governor's desk to be signed. Good. Their new bill will allow as many as 60 sports betting licenses.
Okay, good.
They really went.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of it's geared toward the small business. I think we talked about that last week. No. So, but they've got here. Let's see, guaranteed on-site licenses for 6 casinos. The 6 casinos there if they want it, and then here you go. They have teams that play in the state's 3 professional football and baseball stadiums, the Maryland Jockey Club, for use at Laurel Park and Pimlico racetracks, the Maryland State Fairgrounds, 4 off-track betting locations, and the state's 2 largest bingo halls are all eligible to get licenses.
Wow.
In Maryland, under this new version of the law. So a lot of things have been happening here. Let's see. One other thing, little piece of news. I don't want to skip anything here, but a quick update before we move on to the numbers. Tennessee Action 24/7 is up and running. The court said that the Tennessee Education Lottery, which issued the suspension prior to the court case to reinstate it, they said they can't go back and hear this again. So
can't take another bite of the apple.
Take another bite of the apple. So Tennessee is free and clear, and I know a lot of people are anticipating more problems. I don't know. I think they've cleaned up their act a lot in terms of behind-the-scenes stuff with the proxy betting and all that. I think they're going to be more aware of that.
Well, look, they found a problem and they corrected it right away. So that's what a sports book should do, and I think they probably did the right thing. Yeah.
And I think also Tennessee learned a really valuable lesson on how to proceed with these things, too, in terms of procedures, rules, emergency hearings. And also follows along with the new bill that was just passed, allowing the Sports Wagering Advisory Council to meet and make decisions on its own, separate from the Tennessee Lottery Board. So they took some power away from
I wonder if that's going to cause more problems. Problems between agencies.
Well, the agency that just got this, the Sports Wagering Advisory Council, are the ones who can suspend.
Who will a sports book report to?
They're licensed by the lottery.
Okay, so that's who they report to.
But also the Sports Wagering Advisory Council will be the ones taking action.
Okay.
So two different entities, both work in the sports betting operations.
Why do I feel that's going to be an issue?
There's going to be something missed. Well, they got to get that straightened out. They're going to have to deal with some more regulations, more procedural things to do. I think it's a great move getting it away from the lottery because the lottery should be licensing it.
Well, I don't know if it's getting away from the lottery.
Well, they're not going to be in charge as much as they were before. Okay. So, I think maybe good move. They're going to have some problems get up and running kind of thing the first couple of times.
Well, look, they're going to have to figure out boundaries. They've got to figure out what agency is doing what agency is overseeing what aspect of sports betting. And once they get that right, I think everything will run smoothly.
Well, good luck with Tennessee. Going over to the number side of everything, we did this book report in reverse this time.
Oh, okay.
The Grand National over in Great Britain was held.
Okay.
This past weekend last weekend.
All right, female jockey.
First female jockey ever.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Won at odds of 11-1, Rachel Blackmore.
11-1 odds, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a nice payout.
And according to reports, the Grand National was Britain's biggest ever online sports betting event. Over £100 million was bet.
Wow. Okay.
$137 million, U.S. dollars. That's even with Entain and Paddy Power and Betfair and William Hill all reporting the actual numbers were lower than previous years because of COVID restrictions.
So wait. Why were they reporting it was lower?
The total takings were lower than the previous years due to the coronavirus because all the other things around it too.
Oh, all right.
Didn't happen. No in-person betting.
Okay, all right.
So all they had was really basically online.
And they still did well.
They still did well, but still lower than what they thought they were going to be doing.
Okay, all right.
Going back over the pond, back here in the United States, we've got New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Michigan all reporting their March numbers. Michigan only their retail March numbers. Total retail handle of Michigan was $24.2 million, 12.2% hold. Pretty good. That was pretty good. $2.9 million in revenue for the month of March.
You know why? Because there's so many upsets in the first round in March Madness.
Well, I would have thought some of these numbers would have been a little higher because of March Madness, but Indiana's total handle for March was $316.7 million. That's number 2 all time for Indiana.
Okay,
increase of over $240 million, or more than 300% from March of the previous year. So they had a huge jump from year to year, up only 15% from February. Revenue $26 million, increase of 9.3 from February, 20.8 from year over year, March 2020. Win rate of 8.32%. Top sport was surprisingly basketball.
Of course.
Basketball bets were up 28.8% from February and 359% from March of 2020. So they had a huge increase in basketball betting in March.
Wow.
Pennsylvania, they had a March handle of $560 million. Taxable revenue was $29.3 million. Online revenue, $25.98 million. So the majority of betting came in from online again. Mm-hmm. Let's see. They had the $29 million. This is another huge number. The $29 million in revenue for March of 2021 compared to March of 2020 was up 326%.
Wow. Okay.
I noticed this in the report.
Some of these numbers are crazy, especially the percentages of what they've increased year over year. It's just remarkable. You never think of those kind of numbers when dealing with sports betting, but it's incredible.
Here's an interesting thing I saw in the Pennsylvania report. Valley Forge and Mount Airy were the only properties to report negative retail sports betting revenue.
Really?
But Valley Forge led all online operators with $10.4 million.
Okay.
So retail was not king for them, but online was. So $10.4 million is not a bad number to bring in revenue-wise for online.
I got to tell you, I like the Valley Forge Casino. The one time I was, it's one of those weird casinos. When I was there anyway, you had to buy a temporary membership to get on. What was that, like a C license or a license C?
A C casino. C casino.
Yeah. Did they change that yet? Or
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, no. When you go there, when I went there, it was a couple years ago, and you actually had to purchase a membership, which was very small.
A day pass.
A day pass.
It's like going to Great Adventure.
Yeah, a day pass to get in.
Sorry if you're not from Jersey. Six Flags.
to get into the casino. You had to... It's like a bizarre little cover charge.
Yep. And Wind Creek and Presque Isle Downs both reported negative online revenue for sports betting. Over in New Jersey, they just came out with their numbers as we're taping this. It was kind of recent that they released them. Sports wagering handle for the month of March was $859.6 million. 780 of that was done online. Gross revenue was $60.8 million for the month. That's another 360% increase year over year.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That number is crazy.
Well, again, between last year and this year, a lot of things happened. I mean, I think there are a lot more sports books again, too.
I got to tell you, I got a new cell phone, and one whole page of that is devoted to my gambling apps. And
books and casinos.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm looking at it and thinking, oh, my God, what the hell's wrong with me?
And, of course, do you have the fantasy sports stuff, too? You have
I do
Monkey
have
Knife Fight. And,
I have FanDuel, and I have Monkey Knife Fight. I have the FanDuel Sportsbook, and I also have the FanDuel Fantasy app, too. So I got my bases covered. Plus, I have about, I don't know, like 6 more sports books on it. So I'm thinking, gee, will my phone handle this?
There's a lot more room on these new phones.
It appears to be doing well.
Let's see. In terms of revenue, the Meadowlands license reported $31.2 million. They were the leader in revenue. Resorts came in second with $14.15 million in revenue. Everybody else was just bunched together. Sports wagering gross revenue year to date, $189 million, and the handle year to date, $2.56 billion already.
Wow. For who?
January, February, March. This is Jersey year to date handle.
Wow. Okay.
2.356 billion was done online, and the state as a whole for the year to date, 7.4% win rate.
Great.
So that's the rundown, the numbers, the launches, the deals for this week. Oh, and before I forget, ESPN had their very first betcast for the Sixers-Nets game.
I forgot. I watched that game. I didn't watch the betcast. I forgot all about it.
I flipped between the two just to see how it was.
The problem, I never think, when I see Sixers and Nets, I have both of the local channels here, and that's the one I saw. So,
well, not bad.
Okay.
It was the guys by the
All
Daily Wager. It was the first. It was actually called the ESPN Daily Wager Betcast or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
They're going to be. They don't know if they're going to do more of that. I think, judging by the reaction I'm seeing from some people out there, they may do more.
Great. Okay.
But
I'll be sure to catch it.
If you're a hardcore gambler,
sure
like with the golf betcast that PointsBet did with NBC Sports,
I like that. That was very good.
That was a lot easier to follow. I thought basketball's a little too fast moving for all the little stats that they throw out in terms of, this guy's a half point under his over or his total for rebounds or something.
Although, hey, if you're betting a game and you're betting like those prop bets, that's a great thing to have. That's a great thing to know. Yeah. Especially if you're even fantasy sports, that's a great thing to know.
The one thing I missed and I wanted to see the pre and the halftime shows.
Huh, I didn't even know they were doing it. I knew they were doing a betcast.
They were doing the pre, they were doing the halftime, they were doing the betcast. Next time they do this, if they do another one, I'm going to try and watch the entire thing. But it was actually pretty good, intense. I'm not a hardcore bettor. I'll be honest with you. I'm a casual bettor. I mean, I'll follow the business stuff and all that stuff. But
now let me ask you something from someone who didn't see it, who forgot to turn it on. I mean, was it a screen? The screen with them playing on it, and then did it have the chyrons going down and across and things like that?
It reminded me of Bloomberg TV.
Oh, like the so if you're a
you got a right
financial
column
advisor and you're watching one of those business shows about stocks,
yes.
That's how much information they had?
That's how much information they had down the right column, they had across the bottom, then they had stuff popping up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So they did everything possible.
Hey, I'll check it out next time.
Yeah, so
like I said, they were both local teams here in New Jersey. We get the local like channels, and when the Sixers and the Nets are on, you turn on the local channel. You never think about the
and
ESPN.
it was by the guys who did the Daily Wager,
Great,
who do the
good.
Daily Wager.
Okay.
So it was actually it was entertaining, and again for me a little overwhelming in certain times.
Okay,
but overall good broadcast,
great,
good betcast. I'm sorry. And that's it for the book report this week. Whatever we didn't cover on air here, you'll see in print form at the blog. Go to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the blog button. Feel free to submit your own stories too. info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.